Bangladesh has been through a turbulent year. Protests erupted across the entire country. Rage grew against the Prime Minister, who was forced to flee and take refuge. And they are barely recovering from months of political turmoil. The latest incident has brought sharp focus back on the divisiveness and hatred that seems to be fueling Bangladeshis. A women's district-friendly football match in the northwestern city of Joypurhat was cancelled. A student-led protest from a traditional religious school damaged the venue where the local side was hosting a team from Rangpur city. The reason behind the protest, the students say women playing football is un-Islamic.
The Islamists in our area gathered in a field and marched toward the venue. There were hundreds of them. The situation worsened and we had to cancel today's event.
But the leader of the violent protest was not the students. They were only acting on instructions. They were mere protesters following the commands of the headmaster of the school, Abu Bakr Siddiqui.
Girls' football is un-Islamic. It is our religious duty to stop anything that goes against our beliefs.
School headmasters set principles. They established the value system for students to follow. The very people who go on to form a significant part of a country's future. It's the headmaster who helps students decide what's the right from the wrong. The headmaster here feels that it is his religious duty to stop women's football because it goes against religious principles. What's concerning is that this isn't the only instance of a women's football match getting cancelled in the country. Just a day earlier, another game was delayed indefinitely, this in the nearby city of Dinajpur. A similar demonstration took place where protesters forced the match to be cancelled just half hour before kickoff. And what's worse, the protest was not a peaceful one. 4 people got injured in the tussle. 2 incidents in 2 days spells out clearly that sentiments against women footballers is only intensifying in this country. Till now, this was only restricted to football. But how these protests could shape, what shape this protest could take is, of course, anybody's guess. Because the country and the political setup currently is not on solid ground. Action is being driven by religious sentiments following the ouster of Sheikh Hasina and her government. A series of communal attacks, of course, followed, targeting minorities in the country, particularly the Hindus. It included attacks on temples, homes, shops belonging to minorities. There's a lot of instability, and it's clear that sections of people living in this country do not feel safe. Something that we have seen in a larger scale, of course, in a neighboring country like Afghanistan. Now these protests are leading to an infringement on basic rights. And like they say, to ignite a fire, all it takes is one minor spark. And that minor spark has been these protests, held back to back, forcing women's football matches to get canned on religious grounds. Religion seems to be dominating sporting arenas everywhere. Recently, an Uzbek chess player refused to shake hands with India's Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu during a Tata Steel tournament, saying his religion forbade him to. That sparked a raging debate on whether religion should really influence sports. The Bangladesh incident is another chapter in that exact narrative. The one thing that's common to religion and sport is that it brings people together. Certain miscreants may have misunderstood the situation entirely. To say a sport is un-Islamic needs to have logic, because the rest of the world, of course, doesn't see it that way. In 2023, Morocco's Nouhaila Benzina made history by becoming the first player to wear a hijab at a football World Cup. That was an example of sporting cultures adapting themselves and becoming more inclusive, more mindful of all religions and athletes who practice every religion. And here we are, a year later, witnessing the youth of a country protesting against a sport that is played by all worldwide.
We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you.
And now to
one touted as the minimum ways defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. City measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office, Prime Minister Modi. Did the iron?
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.